Hi there Libra, thank you for joining me for your monthly forecast for June. Now if you remember, Mars moved into your sign late last year for an extended 8th month occupation, which is extraordinarily rare. Now the good side of this is that although you have a reputation for diplomacy and being a good listener, sometimes you are a bit too deferential towards other people. But you are a cardinal sign, so when you get really fired up about something, you can be much more driven to get your own way. And Mars has made you much more conscious of this during this whole period. Now this month, it's going to be squaring up with Pluto in the early parts of the month, the first 10 days. It forges a great link with the Sun the first 4 days, and then from the 12th through to the end of the month, it's in opposition with Uranus. So I'll pick through this. First off, the Sun's angle to Mars can see you breaking free of some inner restrictions that have been holding you back in the past. And you could do something very, very daring, especially around travel or an adventurous sport or activity. And if you are travelling or going on holiday and you're doing something quite vigorous and rigorous, then your timing is absolutely perfect. Now just to say, your ruler Venus is forging a really sweet link with Neptune in the first week of the month, and this could see you doing something really quite self-sacrificing for someone. And it's not all about Mars saying, it's about satisfying your need to be in control and perhaps being a bit more aware of your own ego needs. But from the 7th, Mercury goes backwards. From the 9th, so does Neptune. Mercury going backwards is in the part of your scope to do with the way you relate to the world at large and bosses, or if you're someone who's in a position of influence, people who work for you. And there can be misunderstandings through to the middle of the month, in fact through to the end of the month, but particularly around those worldly interactions. From the middle of the month, it's more around the rules and regulations of things, contractual matters. And if you're travelling, you need to really make sure that you have a plan B. But let's talk about the way that Mars clashes with Pluto for the first 10 days. I think if you're too impatient about issues that can affect your home or personal life in terms of basic security, it's not a good thing. And yet in week 2, Venus actually forges a great link with Pluto. So if you are doing anything around the property matter, as long as you think it through and you're aware of the consequences of your actions, it can turn out really well. But it's from day 10 through to the end of the month where Mars goes face to face with Uranus. Now this happened in April, but it was part of that grand cardinal square. Mars was retreating at that time. It's now going forwards, which is why it's being repeated. So we've had a taste of it before, but if you are tempted to do anything completely off the cuff, yes, it could give you a huge burst of adrenaline and excitement, a wicked thrill to be living life on the edge, but it also could get you into hot water if you do something that really isn't so good for you. And you may find that you could come into conflict with someone by not thinking through the implications, which is quite unlike you because sometimes you'll analyse things to the nth degree, which is not always to your benefit. The full moon, which occurs on the 13th, really asks you to be that much more conscious of the way you transform your intellectual thoughts into your actions. This is crucial. Now there is, from the 21st, a change. The Sun moves right to the top of your horoscope and it's emphasising your responsibilities, your obligations. But also it gives you an opportunity to take centre stage in terms of taking on more control of situations or flagging up your talents. And there is a wonderful new moon which occurs on the 28th. And if you work in a caring profession, some kind of major professional breakthrough is possible towards the end of this month. But on the 23rd, Venus is going to be moving. It moves for you out of the deep and passionate Taurus and it moves into Gemini. And this asks you to get to the truth of situations in your relationships. But also, it could see you having much more interaction with someone from a different cultural background to you. If you're looking for love, expect to be travelling, so get a bag ready. But Venus also clashes with Neptune as the month draws to a close. So if anyone asks you for any kind of commitment, favour or financial help, and you don't know this person very well, I'd turn them down completely because there could be a hidden catch and you need to read between the lines to make sure that you don't get caught out. And remember, Mercury will still be twisting backwards, so it is going to be important to question things this month, but also manage the power that Mars is giving you. It's a wonderful thing, but it is a now energy. It's very impatient. It's about instant gratification. And at times, if you don't get your way, then this can see you being very defensive, argumentative in a way which is quite unlike your normal approach. And that could be unsettling for you. But if you handle it correctly, it could make you more assertive, which will garner you a lot more respect from other people, which can only be good. Thank you for joining me. Good luck and goodbye for now.